In this video, we would like to explain our campaign for safer cycling and walking between Girton and Eddington and why we believe the present travel provisions are unsafe to use, in particular for young children, elderly and infirm members of the local community. At present, it is not safe to cycle and walk between Eddington and Girton. We would like to make sure that the junction at Girton Corner will become fully signalled with a safe and direct cycling and walking provision. We also campaign for a signalled pedestrian crossing of Huntingdon Road where it meets Thornton Road while addressing the growing rat run problem for Thornton Road in the morning rush hour. One straightforward way to illustrate the danger of this stretch of road is by simply looking at a map of the traffic fatalities in Cambridge over the past 5 years. In total, there have been 4 fatalities during that period, 2 of which happened within 500 yards of one another along Huntingdon Road, precisely along the stretch of road between Girton and Eddington. It is worth highlighting that this very stretch of road is frequented daily by pupils as young as 4 years old travelling to and from the Cambridge University Primary School. The school opened in September 2015 and by 2021 it will have grown into a 3-form entry primary school educating over 700 children, most of whom will live in Girton as the development of Eddington is only starting to be populated gradually. Next to the school there is a nursery for 78 children and there soon will be a GP practice in addition to the supermarket. We have pointed out the danger of the current design and campaigned for improvements to the cycling and walking provision for more than 3 years now, unfortunately with little success so far. Here's a short clip from a video presented by the late Professor Sir David Mackay on this topic in October 2015.
Area here, if nothing is done, will surely become a site with new accident black spots. Indeed, there is already a cluster of accidents on Huntingdon Road. Here's the map of data from 2011. It's not fully up to date. There has sadly been another fatality on this very road. This was the location of an earlier fatality at the Girton Road junction that we were just discussing. And you can see a cluster of events. These are not all involving pedestrians and cyclists, but there's clearly a cluster here and some more clusters on Huntingdon Road. The frequency of accidents along Madingley Road appears to be significantly smaller.
The entire development is designed around a strong non-car travel culture with well-integrated walking and cycling infrastructure. The northwestern part of the development of Eddington forms part of Girton and the recently opened supermarket and other local amenities such as the community centre as well as the GP practice, hotels, a cafe, all of which are about to open soon, continue to attract an increasing number of Girton residents of all ages into the development. Unfortunately, the lack of safe and direct routes for pedestrians is not only dangerous, but also undermines the strong sustainability agenda and aspiration of the whole development. Here are a few voices from local residents of Girton.
My issues are accessing the school from Thornton Road.
I cycle every day with my daughter along Huntingdon Road and it's always a challenge.
I have lots of issues with the cycle to school. I don't feel safe with the children cycling.
The safety of the cycling lets the site down.
I have bad experiences coming both to school and going home. On the way to school, when we try to turn right, we actually do it the way that it was designed. It's very, very dangerous turning right because you've got cyclists coming behind you. There is the bus stop which is obscuring your view, and some cars actually don't slow down for cyclists to turn.
And we know the school has ambitious plans to encourage cycling and walking to school, and I want to do that. I've even bought a Dutch bike to carry my 2 children, but it's not safe coming along the Huntingdon Road. I've got 3 particular points of danger that I face every day. The first is when I come home from school, there is a pinch point just outside the Eddington junction. That means that cars cut through the cycle path regularly. We call it the kill zone. So I can't travel that way. Instead I go in the Ridgeway. But when I come out of the Ridgeway on Bunkers Hill, I have no protected crossing of the Huntingdon Road to get to the Girton side. So I have to cross 2 streams of traffic. They should be going at 30 miles an hour but are often going much faster without any protection in the dark. And this is unsafe for my children. My third danger point is when I cross the Ridgeway between Storey's Way and Bunkers Hill. When I get to the junction with Sainsbury's, there's usually a bus parked in the way that I have to cross behind, so I can't see what's coming either side. And because the bollards are not working at the moment, there are cars coming quite quickly up and down that track that shouldn't be there.
To start with Girton Corner, there's lots of traffic there. It's impossible to cross there at the traffic lights opposite Girton Corner. So we go along Huntingdon Road, the cycle lane. Then we have to go past the Eddington junction. There are cycle boxes painted on the road there, but we can't get there because there's too many cars. So we have to go up to the Felix Hotel, stop there, often on the cycle lane because there's too many kids waiting on the pedestrian on the footpath. And then we have to push the button and wait for up to a minute until the traffic stops and we can cross safely.
On the way home, it's probably potentially even more dangerous because cars zooming by in the afternoon at 3:15, so we obviously cross at the traffic lights, but the children cycle on the pavement. Yeah, so we have had a near miss there as well. So it would be very nice to be redesigned, that Girton Corner, so that cyclists can actually either coming from Girton to the school and going home can safely cycle there.
Coming back from school, you have to go at the crossing and then go on the pavement, because I would never take my daughter and cycle up and try and cross over onto Thornton Road turning right.
We don't have any safe crossing. I feel insecure about the children's future of going to school on their own there, whether they're cycling or walking, and we would really appreciate safe crossing from Thornton Road to the school.
And the pinch point really worries me as well as a cyclist. When I'm not with my daughter and I'm cycling back, that's quite scary on the corner.
Here's David again in 2015.
The pavement and the cycle lane both have pinch points. So the cycle lane, first, the on-road cycle lane outbound from the centre of town. This is the view looking outbound to the northwest. It has a constriction where the road narrows down from its widened 3.5 lanes wide, newly created width, back to the width it used to have, which was just 2.5 lanes wide. And so there's an appalling pinch point for the on-road cycle path, which will be created here. You can see what it looks like when a bus is going by at the moment. Here's the view from the north of the same pinch point. The road widens back out to be 3 lanes wide just after the tip of this arrow here, because it widens to 3 lanes to provide a right turning into Thornton Road and a right turning into the petrol station and so forth. So there's clearly going to be problems with the car drivers' desire line as they go past this kink in the road. This pinch point issue was flagged up by officers at the City Council in 2011, but nothing appears to have been done.
I'm originally from the Netherlands, and when I grew up in Holland 40 years ago, they built a new neighborhood close to my area, close to my house. And in this neighborhood, they built cycle lanes like here. However, they were designed to a higher specification than anything that was built here this year, and this was 40 years ago.
We actually moved to live near Eddington because we so liked the school and the development, and I'm really pleased with the quality of the architecture and the development. It's really a pleasure to come through here, but I think the safety of the cycling lets the site down.
So I live in Girton, but I regularly take the car because I find cycling so hazardous with the young kids, and I feel that it's just much safer to take the car. About 2 weeks ago, I think it was the 18th of January, about 1:30 p.m, I was driving home from Eddington Avenue across Huntingdon Road, and I saw an overturned car on the pavement, actually right here where I'm standing. And I just thought, 2 hours later, and that could have been a family from UCPS, which it ploughed into. I really do wonder what it's going to take. I dread to think what it's going to take before somebody takes action.
Thank you for watching the video and for making the road safe for us.